Okay, and I don't think you have it in presentation mode.
Yeah, I am.
Okay,
Are you able to see my slides?
yes,
Okay.
but you can see the side slide as well.
Uh, how come? I don't know. These all the below ones.
Yeah,
Let me skip and then make it presenter again. Seems I'm sharing wrong screen. Let me stop share and share again.
okay,
How about now?
that's good.
Okay, cool. Okay. So hello everyone. So this is a session on Automation Suite. Specifically, I am going to talk a little bit about our offerings on managed Kubernetes, that is, Azure Kubernetes services and Amazon AWS Kubernetes services, that is called Elastic Kubernetes services. I'm Vikash. I am a principal product support engineer with UiPath. I've been here for quite about 6 years so far, and I have worked on Kubernetes deployment and support for about 2+ years here in UiPath. In today's agenda, we are going to cover a little bit about what is Automation Suite and what are benefits of Automation Suite. A little bit about how installation works and what are the best practices which we should follow during installation to make it more smoother. There are some operations which we do perform post installation, and then there are some monitoring tools which we have, and the best practices around troubleshooting, maintenance. And then we will also cover how you can reach out to UiPath product support, or what are all materials available uh, to you for troubleshooting, or knowledge article for understanding more about product and issues which you're facing. So I will not delay any further. I'll just move to the next slide. So what is Automation Suite? So Automation Suite is like, we have so before that I'll cover, like, we have so many products which we use to manage our RPA whole ecosystem, and those are by before Automation Suite, those are either in Automation Cloud as a SaaS offering, which were in a suite. But then for on-premise, we have had all the products in individual means standalone installation. Those products, like, I'll cover those products in the next slide. That is Action Center, AI Center, Computer Vision, Apps, Automation Hub, and these all were a separate installation, standalone installation. But then the idea of Automation Suite was to bring all these product in a common suite, where you should be able to manage those and operate those efficiently without bothering individual installation or upgrades. So that's the idea of Automation Suite, where we will be getting you know everything packaged in a Kubernetes based deployment. It will be single management plane, unified user and tenant management, where you can, the user management can be done on platform unifiedly for all the products. You don't need to worry about uh, multiple standalone user managements and all. Uh, then, all the configurations and bundles which will be available. I mean, if all the products are together as a suite, then it will be even more optimized for integrations with each other, right? And then definitely the cost level will be much lower than managing individually all those products. Any questions you have around Automation Suite overview? Okay. I will move to next slide. That is the products, as we were talking, like, so like, we have these all products available on Automation Suite as of today, and The integration services as well will be coming in Automation Suite in our next release. And slowly, the idea of Automation Suite is to be in sync with Automation Cloud. So whatever we have in Automation Cloud, we'll have in Automation Suite as well. We have shared suite capabilities. So when we talk about shared suite capabilities, so Automation Suite is comprised of three things. One is infra, one is fabric, and then one is services. When we call about infra, that has all the shared suite capabilities, like infra and fabric has all the shared suite capabilities where you can use AD or SAML, all sort of authentications or all sort of configurations which will be common around all the applications instead of managing those separately in a standalone what it was. So this Automation Suite, as I mentioned, it's hosted on Kubernetes-based infrastructure, and those Kubernetes-based infrastructure can be deployed in multiple ways, which we do support. I'll cover that in next slide. So this slide has the products and the link to those products. If I'll probably be sharing this slide with you guys later on so that you can browse these individual links to understand what documentations are available on these products. Uh, I'll go to next slide. That is, these all are the UiPath deployment options which we have. Like all the we have Automation Cloud as SaaS offering, as I told earlier as well, and then Automation Cloud Automation Suite is for the customers who are not ready to go on cloud and they want uh, the application to be hosted on-prem. So it could be in public cloud Linux VM or existing AKS EKS cluster, or even it can be in air-gapped deployment where it'll be it'll work as private cloud deployment. So and then the third one is in individual products. Individual products is like you install Orchestrator individually with the installation bundle, and then you install AI Center, document understanding, all these product individually, and then integrate with those by configuring them in the config files. Any questions, guys, or?
And if you have any questions, you can take yourself off mute and just ask.
Yeah, please. Feel free to ask at any time if you have any questions or if you feel like this is going fast. Uh, I can be a little slow.
I just had a comment. You mentioned the public cloud, but we're on the Gov Cloud for Azure. It's also supported.
Yeah, it is. The Gov Cloud is also supported. Even in Azure or AWS, the Gov Cloud is supported. We have customers on Gov Cloud as well. So, yeah. I will move to next. So, when we talk about deployment, as I told, like I'll be covering a little bit about AS on AKS, but I'll just give a little overview on Linux as well, like how it works on Linux. So, we have three components: infrastructure, fabric, and then services. So on Linux, we do manage, means you just need to bring three, or means how many Linux servers you want to deploy. Like if it is single node, one Linux machine with all the prerequisite. If it is multi-node, it will be in odd number of nodes like 3, 5, 7. And you need to bring just the bare metal machines and the SQL server and other components required. And we will perform all the installation, including infrastructure, fabric, Kubernetes. Everything will be installed by UiPath bundle installer. Uh, but that's different in AKS and EKS, that is managed Kubernetes, where you will bring the infrastructure as part of AKS and EKS, like it's a managed Kubernetes, and on top of that we will be installing fabric and services. So like this is infrastructure, this will be managed by I mean AKS EKS, either like either you will be managing, means customer will be managing, or they can get help from AKS EKS support as well. And then the CAS as well. CAS, as part of CAS we use Redis, and as part of Redis, for on-prem, we deploy our on, we have high availability add-on or single node Redis, that is just, comes with the bundle. But as part of AKS, EKS, it is supposed to be, for AKS, it can be Azure Redis Cache, and for EKS, it can be Elastic Cache. And the Elastic Cache and Azure Redis Cache is the supported version is like supported one is non-clustered one. Uh, and for data source, we have like, you need to have the object store as Azure Blob or Amazon S3, then SQL for database, so Microsoft SQL Server. And if you have any block and files, like for insights, we need block storage, so that you need to bring separately. So these will be managed by customers IT team, or customers infrastructure team. Then it comes some optional, like either these like networking solutions, backup solutions. Either you can use our provided by us, that we do provide Istio as networking solution, cert manager as for certificate management and all. And these all means like we do provide Prometheus, Grafana as well as part of our bundle. But if you want to skip this, we have that option where you can skip, and bring your own solution for these. And but then if you are bringing your own, then you need to manage that. If it is as part of UiPath bundled installation, then that will be managed by UiPath. So that's the optional products. And then there are, UiPath managed, that is UiPath services and components, like, all those platform orchestrator insights, all those products and the components which we have. Any questions? So I've added this links where it says all those, compatibility and what all kind of so I'll just show probably. So these all are the compatibility metrics for that. What all products are compatible for what version. For 23.10, the Redis version 22.04 is compatible. Similarly, everything is like, on our documentation. And then we have, like all these dependencies and what all prerequisite we have, those all listed here. So I just wanted to show you that. Then okay, please feel free to ask if you have any questions with the stacks and components which includes. Okay, I'll move to next slide. So this is how deployment looks for AKS. Like you have a AKS cluster, and that will be having database, storage, cache. These three will be linked with that. We will be having input.json file where you'll be providing all these details for connectivity and all. And then you have a load balancer, and that load balancer is going to be front end for users or the robot connectivity and all. So this is how it looks, the deployment architecture and the network setup, if I'll say. And this is for offline deployment, where there will be internal load balancer, and then there will be gateways and all for connecting outside the I mean for the other external machines, users or robots. So you can bring your own container registry or use registry.uipath.com, that is public registry. For offline, you'll not be able to use the UiPath provided registry, because that will not be accessible. But for online, you can use the registry.uipath.com, that is UiPath's public registry, or you can build your own container registry as well and hydrate those with the images which we have in which we require actually. There are some recommendation that is you need to use network load balancer. The number of IP addresses should be more than or equal to 400. The minimum requirement is 400 IP addresses uh, for Kubernetes services which is running in that. And again, as I told, like Azure Redis cache should be non-clustered because clustered Redis doesn't work well with our products. So yeah, the minimum requirement and capacity planning calculator is available on our documentation where you can calculate the requirements and all. I will move to the next slide. That is this is the it's similar to AKS. It's just like, you know, it's hosted in AWS. So this is how it looks for EKS cluster and online offline deployment. And same here as well. We need to have 400 IPs available in the subnet. And instead of Azure Redis, we will use Elastic Cache here and EFS for backup and S3 for object store and RDS for SQL Server. Uh, any questions? Okay. So installation walkthrough and best practices. What all we need before installation, during installation, and post installation. So before installation, these are the prerequisites which needs to be met, where you know, you need to bring your own Kubernetes cluster, like EKS, AKS. If there is a proxy that needs to be set up, just give me 1 minute. Sorry. Okay. And then SQL database caching, storage, network. Network is like, you know, it's both. Either you can bring your own network solution that is either Nginx or something, or you can use ours, which we will be installing during installation. And then certificates. While installation, we do have a way to create a self-signed certificate which will be valid for 90 days. But then that should be replaced by that should be replaced by CA authorized certificate or external certificate after installation. Then capacity planning. What sizing should be required for your particular infrastructure requirement? Like, let's say if you are on EKS, then you want to enable backup and you want to have one node fault tolerance, then this is what is required for basic installation of these products which we have here. You can even play with number of robots. Like if you have 10 robots, you can see what is requirement. If you have 100 robots, you can see what are the requirements. You can play around these values, like how many Excel Center concurrent users are there. Like let's say one user is there. Based on that, it will give hardware requirements here, and and that will be, you know, the minimum requirement which needed to install the product on AKS or, you know, EKS, like whatever you select here. It's for both it's for all the deployment types like single node, multi-node, AKS, EKS. You can change the product selection as well. Like if you want to include AI center, document understanding, process mining, you can add those, and the requirements will give like 5 worker is needed if you have these sort of requirements.
We had a question. We are experiencing some performance problems now because of document understanding. And I don't know if we did this sizing with that in mind, but it just seems to require a lot of memory all of a sudden for the DU. Is that common?
So it depends. Like if you'll go to data document understanding, like what utility is there, right? Like how much utilization is there for document understanding? Definitely, if you have a document which is using OCRs, and it has, it needs computation to use that skills which is required, then definitely it's gonna need much more memory. And that's where we do recommend you to have GPU based system where, that will make it more efficient. So yeah, definitely the memory utilization is gonna increase if you have complex documents to process.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. No problem. Any other questions? Okay, so once we are ready at this point, we understood what is the requirement. We understood what is architecture look like. We understood how the external components like SQL Server, Redis Cache, or S3 or EFS or Azure Blob is there for backup or other stuffs. Now it's time to we are ready with everything almost based on the means if we are here. Then we need to prepare the input.json file. Input.json file is one config file which we use during the installation. So uh, this file will have all the details which we are going to configure before installation. Like it will have the Kubernetes FQDN, what type of installation you are performing. Are you bringing your own registry, or is it like, you're using registry.uipath.com? Username, password, which you need to provide, that will be your username, password for the admin user while uh, the installation completes. Profile, whether you want to have a high availability or not, I mean, for AKS, EKS, it's the high availability only, but for Linux based installation, you can have single node as well. Then telemetry, if you want to have telemetry true or false, if it is true, then all the network specific logs and other logs will be sent to UiPath. It will not have definitely any sensitive information, but the information which is going to help UiPath understand more about the uses and the infrastructure which you have. And this also will enable you to see the network traffic in your Istio logs, ingress gateway logs. So this is also going to help. If you enable telemetry, then you will able to trace all the communications which is coming to Kubernetes cluster uh, in the Istio ingress gateway logs. If you'll not enable this, then those will not be logged in the gateway pod. Okay. So this is, a specific like UiPath products, what you want to enable. If you want to enable orchestrator, test automation, you can add similar to this, like whatever all products you want to enable. And this was the common, suite level configurations. Then, if you want to exclude some component, like let's say you don't want Istio, which is being installed by UiPath, but you want to bring your own. So you can just exclude here and then configure those in the input.json later or to use your existing Istio. Similarly, if you want to bring your own monitoring, you can exclude that from here. You want to bring your own backup, you can exclude that here. So I mean, it has a little detail about excluding those products. Like if you're excluding this TO, what you need to bring, or if you're excluding cert manager, what alternate you need to bring, a little bit about that. And then certificate configurations we have. So these certificate configurations, like if you will not provide any certificate, we will be creating a self-signed certificate, and that will be used for 90 days. That will valid for 90 days. Either you need to create another self-signed certificate and upload, or you need to provide a CA signed certificate. And these all are the certificate which we require in order to secure the cluster. Then these all are the prerequisites, which I'll not go in detail. But if you have gone through, or if you have any questions about a specific like SQL database, we need caching, as we discussed, we need Redis based caching. Storage we need for object store, and if you are using insights, then we need block storage as well. So for backup as well, we need EFS or Azure Blob. Uh, Similarly, networking requirements, like, if you're bringing your own networking, then you need to configure those, make sure that the network setup is correct to enable the communication within cluster, or the incoming from outside of the cluster. Uh, uh, if you are bringing your own engines, you want to configure, that is optional, but yeah, you can configure that as well. Okay. So the general requirements for external object store: Azure, AWS, S3 compatible. This is what it should look like. Then, means like it has all the required, means what is there in Azure, what is there in AWS, and what can be used around that. That's a little bit, we'll not go in detail, but if you are interested, please go through this and see if you have any questions. A later point as well, we can answer those. I mean, yeah, this is what a sample EKS or AKS input file looks like. So there are prerequisites where you can either create prerequisites automatically, or you can bring your own database specific to each product. Like, let's say if you want to bring a complete database for all the products like Automation Suite, Orchestrator, AI Center, you can create manually and then specify those connection strings in each section here. But if you want installer to create those database, all you need to do is you need to bring the SQL server and details of it and set the create database to true, like it's here. If I'll show you here. So SQL.createDB to true. So if you set this to true and run the installer, it will create the database. Not installer, but we have a prerequisite to create command, which we will run UiPath CTL prerequisite create command. That will create the all the prerequisite, like, if you have SQL DB create to true, that will create SQL DB, or any other the buckets and all those will be created if you'll run the create command. So there are two options. Either you need to bring your own pre-created stuffs, or you can just provide the credentials with required access and run the prerequisite create command. That will create all the prerequisite for you in the specified connection strings, with the specified connection strings. Any questions so far with preparing the input.json file for installation, or anything which you want me to cover in a little bit more detail? You. I will move on the next slide then. So that is like common best practices, which we do recommend based on the experiences we've had so far. So we always recommend you to go ahead and do a complete prerequisite validation. How do you do that prerequisite validation? So we have UiPath CTL command line tool. This command line tool is going to be used for whole, installation and management of the cluster. So in this, there are prerequisite specific commands which we need to use before running the installer. So as I told, like, we have a UiPath CTL prerequisite create. So if you'll provide the input.json, it will create those automatically, and it will have that in the cluster to be used for the installation. Then once you run this prerequisite create, just run the prerequisite run. It will validate everything, like whether uh, everything is available or not. If it will not available, it'll give you, error or some sort of error message which will detail about what is available, what is not available. And then we have install. Once prerequisite run is successful, then you can run the UiPath CTL install command. That is that'll give you that'll run the installer. Like if you'll see here, installing. So as I said, create, then run. If everything is valid, then go ahead and apply. That'll install everything on the cluster. So this is about running the installer. And once this is successful, you can run UiPath health check. This will say, okay, your automation suite cluster is ready to be used. So this is what will be a output example of the prerequisite check. You see, everything is healthy. If something is failing, then it will say here that something is failing. Like let's say object store is not reachable. It will say object store test failed for some for so and so region. It will give some region about that. Or if it will not be able to make connection to Redis, it'll list the region here for that as well. And these all checks which are happening behind the prerequisite run. And similarly, we have a output example for successful installation as well. So this is how the installation looks like. If everything is there, then it'll say like this created. If it'll fail, it'll show here something failed. So if successful, everything is good. If failed, what to do in that scenario? So okay. So if successful, we are good. You can use the FQDN to browse and then further use that product. If fails, then we have UiPath support or other components as well. But before going to there, I'll just cover a little bit about post-installation stuffs. Like if installation successful, then what all steps we need to follow. The very first step is if you want to, or if you do not want to use self-signed certificate, go ahead and change the certificate right away with the CA signed certificates. And these all are the steps for the same. These all are documented as well on our documentation. You need to get the certificate for TLS, a CA bundle. CA bundle will have the root certificate, any issuer certificate if there, or any intermediate certificate. It will bundle with all these certificates in a single file, and then it will have its key file as well. And then there will be a TLS cert. That TLS cert will be it will be like the leaf certificate of that particular, which will trust the FQDN. So we have server.cert, that is sorry, bad. Server.cert is leaf certificate, CA.cert is CA bundle, which I just said, and then there will be a key for that. So these all requirements which we will having for TLS, updating the TLS certificate. Now we use token signing certificate to communicate individual products with platform. Like to authentication, we use identity, that is platform, that is our platform authentication. And to securely transfer token, we use token signing method, and that token signing requires a certificate, and that certificate is being used internally itself. It's not uh, it doesn't need to have for any sort of FQDN or something, but yeah, it needs to have a token signing, what do I say, the token signing method it should have, and that's all is required for this. There are more about this certificate on our documentation, where what sort of requirements are there, like it should be 2048 bits and all. And you can use this, you can also update this certificate either with a self-signed certificate or with a CA signed certificate. And these are the steps for that to update. Additional CA certificate, what are these? Like if you are using anything, any services, like let's say SQL servers is there, which is required to be uh, with the secure transmission, like TLS sign, then you need to have that certificate as well in the cluster. If you'll upload those certificate to cluster, it will be distributed among all the pods, and those needs to be added as an additional CA certificate. Say it for SAML or for SQL or for any other external services which require certificate, can be uploaded as additional CA certificate. and that will be distributed among all the pods to secure the connection. Any queries here? So this is the very first step which we perform after installation if we want to change the certificate. The next are like, when you start using, if you want to configure backup and restore, you can configure backup and restore. Uh, Later on, if you want to send your logs to monitor to Splunk, you can do that as well. Database maintenance comes much later, like if you are using for some certain amount of time and you see that the performance is degrading, then it is recommended to perform database maintenance, which will be performed on some tables which has huge amount of data. You can either archive those data or fine tune the database to optimize the performance. In backup and restore, as I told, like in AKS, we use Azure Blob. Sorry. In AKS, we use Azure Blob. In EKS, we use EFS. And you can configure backup and you can take on-demand backup as well. Or you can schedule a backup. Let's say like you want to schedule a backup every 45 minutes. So you can give a cron expression for 45 minutes and you can also define the retention period of that backup. Or you want to schedule every 2 days, you can define the cron expression for that as well, and that will be scheduled, and every that duration it will take the backup. This is the way to enable the backup. This is the way to disable the backup. We have command for disabling backup. Then you can see what all backups you have available, or you can create an on-demand backup as well. So this one is the one major task after installation, and it is good to have backups and configure it. Any questions around backup? Okay, I'll move to the next slide. So monitoring. What all we can monitor? We can monitor the system users. We can monitor the how much memory, CPU, and what all networking components are utilizing how much. So those all we can monitor in Prometheus and Grafana. Alert manager, you use to set up some alerts, which will be like, let's say you set up an alert. If storage is more than 80%, then you should receive an alert. Or if system CPU utilization is more than 70-80%, you should receive an alert. So those all you can configure using monitoring stack. We have these three configured monitoring stack if you're not excluding these. So this will be available with these URLs, like let's say your FQDN is sorry. Let's say your FQDN is automation suite.mycompany.com. Then you can use monitoring.automation suite.mycompany.com metrics. And how to get the credentials and all is listed in our documentation as well. So yeah, these all monitoring tools which we have pre-built, and you can use these for setting up or monitoring your cluster. Troubleshooting. So, what if any issue comes post installation or while using that? You can use some troubleshooting by your own, or you can reach out to UiPath support. What things you can do by your own is, in our troubleshooting documents, we have some common issues which you can look at and see if one of those are there. Then you can follow those steps to resolve those. Like, let's say, uh, you know, you see that this particular pod is failing, and you can see that the backup setup does not work. Sorry, solution would be database migration for automation robot automatically retried. However, Argo CD does not update the status. You can ignore this. If this is coming, then you can ignore this. It says like, similarly, the backup setup does not work. Means like these all. If it is among this, you can try. There is a solution for each of these. If it is not among them, then the next step would be to check our knowledge base. What is knowledge base? We have a vast set of knowledge base on our customer portal for success tier customers, where we document common issues which we are seeing with different customers, and solution for that. So either you can go through that and see if you are able to get some help with those. If not, the next step will be to reach out to UiPath support. I'll cover that in a later slide, how to reach out to UiPath support as well. Now we have couple of tools as well for understanding the issue. One is like a diagnostic tool. The diagnostic tool, if you'll run like health check, this is the command to run the diagnostic tool. If you'll run the diagnostic tool, it will tell you about if there is any specific error with the with the cluster. And based on that, we can continue the troubleshooting or see what next we can do about that. So here are some common listed errors are there, or the way how you can use diagnostic tool. Similarly, we have a support bundle tool. So let's say if you have run the diagnostic tool, you could not see what's affecting your cluster, or even if you could see and you need further helps, we recommend you to create a support bundle and then send it to UiPath support team. The support bundle will have some pod definition, some objects, some logs, and some details about other config maps and all, like whatever objects we need to have and not sensitive or in not having any sensitive information. So these, once you'll share this, we'll look through that and we can try to drill down the issue and debug it further. So this is about the tools which we have available already for troubleshooting. Any question? I will move to the next slide. We have Argo CD as well to manage the whole cluster. Like Argo CD is a kind of a web-based tool where you will see your cluster. This is how it looks like all the applications which you have, like AI Center, AI Events. So AI Center, if let's say everything is working but AI Center is not working, then it might be in red here. And once you'll open this, it will show what errors are there. So you can look into this tool and see some pod logs or some pod events, and that could help you understand, like if there is something which is not in healthy state. So you can use this tool as well to monitor your cluster. If you see something unknown or out of sync or not healthy, you can either look into that and see if available articles or documentation helps you. If not, then you can reach out to support team again to get some help on that. How to reach to UiPath support? So we have customer portal from where you can create a technical support case. These are details we would need, like contact details, product component affected, UiPath platform version, and affected environments, priority of reported issue. Like let's say if it is a production issue where the product is not usable or huge number of automations or people are affected, then that will be a urgent case where you need urgent assistance to fix that issue. But let's say there is a production itself where a couple of or maybe less number of users with less impact, then you can create a P2 case, which will again have high priority, but lower than the production outage. Then if you have, production or dev or a staging case where the impact is less than, means like, the business impact is not uh, financially affected, or the timelines are not affected too much, then that could go as medium. And then low priority comes for dev issues where this is something planned or some queries are there around, or some issues which has time to troubleshoot, will go as low case. The number of affected robots, definitely that's gonna help us understand like what sort of priority it has. Description of the issue. This is very important when we create a case with support. Like the description is the first first thing we look from support team, and if that is clear enough, that gives us better context to draft our first response or to draft our path to troubleshoot that issue. So we always recommend, that you put the pointers which you feel like will help to understand this issue. Like, for example, let's say login is not working. Now, if you'll say login not working, we will have hard time to understand login not working. But if you'll say, hey, we are able to access the UI, but when we are entering the password, it says that password not match, or password not valid, or let's say something like, error 500 error something. So we will have a better context. Okay, this is the error which is coming, and this is where till where you are able to go. Then we'll be able to draft the next step of troubleshooting. Okay, if you are able to go here, this is what we need to look into, and this is what is going to help us troubleshoot this further. If there are any error messages, definitely that's gonna help much more. And logs related. Generally for automation suite, we recommend to upload support bundle in the while creating the issue itself. We have a collaboration space in our customer portal where we allow you to upload up to 1 GB of file. And you can just go to collaboration space, create a folder, and then you can just upload there the files, the log files. The second is incident support call center. We also have a call center where we have phone-based support as well. But this is for success tier customers. It's like we have different offerings where you can like premium plus activate and all, where you can get access to these numbers and you can call in case of any issue. The person other side will help you understand, will help you, create an incident with us, as well as will help you with basic document collection steps. Or if there is something where there is a KB for that, he'll help you reach out to that KB as well and see if those are helpful. And this way you can get to UiPath support as well. Any questions here? Okay, I'll move to the next one. So the URL also is like, for customer portal. If you are not aware, this is customerportal.uipath.com, and you can log in. You'll see this is mine, so it will not be similar to you. This will be different for you. Like if let's say you are a customer of this, then you'll go like this, and this is what you'll see. So you can go access collaboration space, see your cases, or see your license, what is the utilization and all. So something like that, you can look at your particular uh, window. Okay, so best practices while you are creating a case to expedite the resolution. We recommend always to be on the supported product version, and that you can find in the products, the life cycle of the UiPath products. Like, sorry. So we have, a product life cycle given on our official documentation where you can find what product is supported, what is not. And it is recommended always to be on supported version of the product, which will help us, expedite that. And provide complete, accurate, and timely information. Always provide complete, accurate, complete information. Complete information when we say, like, let's say an error occurred. What time stamp that error occurred? Is it like, uh, if you'll give the timestamp, let's say like 5:11 it occurred, 5:11 p.m. or EST it occurred. So we'll have that precise time, and while looking into log, we'll go to look into logs for that precise timestamp, and that could give us more accurate information while analyzing those logs. Okay. So after apart from logs, we will have we'll have some best practices like set the right priority so that like let's say if your production is down and you set the low priority, that might not get the required attention which you need to have. Or let's say you have a query in dev and you have set it to urgent priority, that will again unnecessary that will not be a better judgment of priority as well. So we recommend you to go with the priority assessment and see how soon you want information and how critical it is for you to get information timely. Based on that, judge the priority and set it to that. Plan ahead before going ahead with any upgrade or installation. We recommend like if you have success tier subscription, talk to your TAM, talk to your customer success manager and plan it accordingly, which will help the TAM or the internal teams as well to understand your infrastructure and recommend based on that, or also come prepared based on that, to avoid any such crisis moment where, hey, we did not know that this was the scenario or this is what was happening. So that is something which we always recommend customers to do when there is a big change going to happen. Even we recommend for big changes uh, like product upgrade means like server patch or something, to at least have a discussion with TAM where they will help you understand, okay, these all could be the possible issues, you should back up these, you should prepare for these sort of rollback options. That is very helpful when you are going to perform these sort of this sort of big changes. Ensure you have right resources and access. It's like when we start troubleshooting, let's say we are on a call where we need database access, but if you do not have database access, it's going to be a little bit time consuming to get that access, and then it's going to unnecessarily delay the troubleshooting. So it is recommended to have the access to the servers, relevant components over the on the call, and be prepared to uh, perform actions on those particular components. Use self-help documents like the knowledge base. As I mentioned, we have knowledge based, we have forum, we have documentation where known issues and all are listed. So these all are some best practices for getting to support or getting a expedite resolution. Any questions with that?
I have a question.
Please.
Um, one challenge that we've encountered is if you have something that is a known issue that will need to be fixed by UiPath,
Mm-hmm.
is there some way, because even our case will be closed,
Mm-hmm.
but it's already known internally, then you have a new case and it's not the same as that case, but it relates to that. Like, so the support starts again, like do all these steps, but is there a way you can know like a number or something internally for that known issue? That's what I'm asking. Then you can just refer the support to that and then
Yes.
explain the new part.
Yes, it's like we do manage these all cases in a platform, and that platform has like for every customer, we can look in all the cases which you have created so far, or even if you'll go to customer portal, you can look all your cases which you have created in past. And let's say that customer X has created a case where they were unable to log in. Next time, if they'll create a case where they are unable to log in, we have a way to look into the search in the cases or look into the account and see what all cases they have created in past. Is there anything related to that? Sometimes what happens is like customer itself take the note of the case number. When you start communicating with us, you will be communicating on a specific case number. So if you can note that case number and put that case number in the description, that will come to us as a follow-up case, and we can look into that case then and there without any further search at all. So these are two ways where we can find the related cases and all. Even we do have some suggestions in the in our tool that, hey, this was something which might be related to this case, and you should look into that. So yeah, definitely we have some sort of repository for that. Maybe always it might not be optimal, but definitely we take care. We take look into those when we get a case.
I guess that wasn't exactly my question. Like, I know how to find the list of cases that I have, but I guess my question is if it's like a defect. So we have like the FIPS compliant certificate.
Okay.
So it's a known issue. I guess if I had a defect number or a featured number or something like that
Oh, okay, I got
inside
it.
of UiPath,
Yeah.
with the next issue, we have to start from scratch all over again with the support agent. I would like to just be able to, like, they already know about that part, and now we can talk about the new part, by referring to it. But I don't know if there's such a thing like an internal tracker in UiPath when you have a known defect or a feature request.
Even we do have that as well for defects or bugs or anything we have known issues. Definitely we have that. Uh, we do link to those cases as well. Whenever you create a case and if it turns out to be a defect, we do create a defect with our product team and link that with the case. Uh, I I do know that we do look into those, but if you have some certain experience where you have had to explain again about that defect, I would very much like to know and see what else we can do to optimize that. I mean, this is recording, but if we can ever connect one to one, maybe I can show you like how it works. So we do have those internal tracker as well. If you want, on your case, like someone said, hey, we have logged a defect with this and this is being worked by product team, or this is being going to be fixed in a later version, you can always ask the defect number and we should be able to share that as well with you.
Okay. Yeah, that would be perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so I will move to the next slide, that is, question and answer. So I'll just to give a quick summary what we discussed today. We discussed about Automation Suite, which is a one-step management platform for all the UiPath managed products, where we have the shared suite capabilities, which will be common for all those applications, and then every individual applications will be as a single, application inside Kubernetes cluster, and this is a containerized solution, so each and every component is as separate as together as well. And we discussed about what all are prerequisite, what all are best practices, what all are resources available online which you can look into before moving to Automation Suite or planning for Automation Suite installation. Why you choose Automation Suite? Because it is easy to manage, it is unified platform. It is definitely, if you are using multiple number of products, the cost will be lower as well. The next we discuss post installation, like if you have a product installed, then what all things you need to do post installation, like configuring alerts, looking at the metrics, changing the certificates, taking the backup. We have also discussed like what should you do in case if you hit an issue while working with Automation Suite. The options are to look into available knowledge-based documentation or available resources online. If you are able to understand and fix, that's fine. If not, then collect the relevant logs and reach out to UiPath support. Uh, there are some alert configurations as well, which I probably will take a future session where I'll talk more about what sort of metrics you can look day by day to day, what sort of alerts you should configure, and be careful, be a little bit more careful about those alerts. If those alerts are coming, what should you do? Probably reach out to UiPath or if there is a step which you can follow. So probably I'll be covering those into a later session, because that itself is going to take some time, where I need to show you, I need to replicate, and I need to share some impact on that as well. So after this, we have also discussed like how we can reach out to support team, and what are some best practices around that. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to ask.
Any other questions? Great session, Vikash. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys all next time. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and present this to all.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.